I'm live. Okay, this is always the fun bit. Just after going live, this is going to be up on YouTube, so people will see it later before I have any actual live viewers on the live stream. And I'm just adjusting my camera, which is, there we go. That's a bit more like it. And a bit like that. Yes, so talking to no one for a bit, talking to you in the future. This is time travel. You don't think time travel is possible? This is time travel, because what I'm doing before anyone joins me live is talking to someone who won't see me until the future. Hey, Aussie Brick Chick, always up for a live stream. I appear to have got my dodgy light for this particular live stream, which is going to flicker occasionally, but I'm sure we'll all survive that. It doesn't do it a lot, just does it every now and then. It's a little distracting, but we'll survive. I'm in a slightly different position. I'm still in my kitchen. And you probably tell it like the fridge and the bottles, it's boxes that I still haven't unpacked, but I'm on in a slightly different position in the kitchen. Mr. Angry Indeed, Celtic King, hello to you. So chillin'. And I thought live stream. Keen-eared people have picked up in the past. They can hear Star Trek playing in the next room. Mrs. Angry and her son are watching Star Trek. They are currently watching an episode of Voyager. They actually did the epic of watching all of Star Trek, including the original universe movies, in chronological order for that universe. So that meant the first series they watched was the most recent Star Trek series, Enterprise, because that's like the proto Star Trek, even though it was the most recent one made. So that was what they watched first. Then they watched the original series, and then they watched the movies for the original series cast, and then Next Generation. Once you get towards the end of Next Generation, you start to have some crossover with Deep Space Nine, and then Deep Space Nine has some crossover with Voyager. So they've been using a website that lists the episodes in chronological order to tell them what to watch, and they watch about half a dozen episodes a week, and they're in Voyager, as I said now. So yeah, on one of the other live streams, because see, this is what I often do. They're in the next room watching Star Trek, and I'm not averse to Star Trek. Oh, okay, thank you. This looks like the this is approved of the new. Oh, I also found where do I live in? Well, around Caulfield, Melbourne. So for anyone who watched the other live streams, you'll know I was cursing because I actually bought a little tripod, an iPhone tripod specifically to do this, and then I lost the bit that held the camera in, and it makes no sense that I can't find it. Like, we've just moved into this house and it should be somewhere really obvious, and I still haven't found it. I might find it as we do a bit more unpacking and cleaning up. And so I was improvising with bloody plasticine holding the phone in place. It was really annoying. But I just remembered tonight, when I decided to do this tonight, I had an old selfie stick that I bought years ago, and I went, wait, it's got a thing, and these things tend to have a universal thread on them, and lo and behold, I've got a nice stable thing. And yeah, I was toying with angles. In fact, the main reason I changed the angle is how old am I? I don't know, how old do you think I am? Young at heart? See those boxes there? That's the main reason I changed angle. Now I know everyone likes this angle, I'll probably do this in the future. Boxes on the chair, and there's boxes on the table, and it would have been a real pain in the ass to move things around and make a space where I would before. So I sat here, but everyone thinks this is a better angle. I like the wide angle, and like, you can do this, and it's all coming at you. The wide angle focus on the iPhone can make for very weird things. You are 89, 69. You should have said 69. See, 69's a funny number. Everyone loves it when you say, oh, yeah, I think and this was another reason I did this here, the light is much better too. I was improvising with the light before, but now all the light's over there. See, some of it was overhead and off to the side before, and so it wasn't great, but now all the light's over there, so it's bouncing at me evenly. So yeah, the light is much better. So this will be the position for the live streams from now on. That was the light coming straight down. My hair is lighter here, so when light comes straight down here, it kind of shines through, and particularly if you look on some of my old YouTube videos that are on really low resolution, because that's what we did back in the day. The videos were shot in like 240 DPI and 320 DPI. And I had dodgy lighting, and because the resolution's so low, it really looks in some of them like I've got a bald patch. Like, I colour my hair. There you go. That's a secret. That's an admission. I mean, obviously, because in a lot of videos, I've had purple hair or bright red hair. So obviously, I colour my hair. If I don't, you see the grey growing back in my beard, but I do have a grey bit right down. The hair is a much lighter colour here than on the sides. And in the low res ones, when I didn't have colour in my hair and it was grey here, the contrast really made it look like a bald spot. I'm 50, so some slight male pattern baldness at 50 is not anything to be particularly worried about, I don't think so. Yeah, see, this is it. When I get a haircut, I have the silver fox thing going because my hair is mostly grey now. So it's always a thing, when it eventually grows out, and I don't know if I'm going to get another haircut before winter gets really cold. I don't like getting a really short haircut in winter because my head gets cold. Yeah, trivialities like that. Yeah, see, Celtic King, I like the purple too, and I haven't done it for a little while, so I may well do it the next haircut. Last two haircuts, I just put some brown colour in my hair, so I might do the purple again next time, because I quite like it. And it's notable, you get comments, usually positive ones, as I go around town, because they don't expect a dude my age to put purple colour in his hair, so people notice it. If I get another haircut before winter gets really cold, so sometime in the next month, I might put the purple in this time. Well, that's funny, you can tell, because I'm a contractor. My day job, I work in IT, and I'm a contractor, so I change jobs often, like twice a year, and I don't like to freak people out at job interviews. So I don't go purple at job interviews. I tend to go brown at job interviews. So my current contract finishes mid-year, but I think they want me to stay longer. So the first thing is I want to find out if I'm staying in this job where I've been for a little while, or if I'm going to go out into the world and get another job. If I'm going for job interviews, I'm not going to put purple in my hair. I'm going to put the brown in it. Awesome, you caught me, Metal Maniac Matt. Yay. This is the thing. A lot of people who have been watching my videos for ages and used to watch the old live streams on Blog TV, which I used to do like every Wednesday night. Or was it Thursday night? There was a night when I used to do Blog TV. People are catching these now, and I'm really enjoying these. I'm finding a real sense of contact from doing these, and it's like, yes, that's what it's all about. Like, although I've been doing YouTube for a long time, like it's not as if, I'm a YouTube megastar by any stretch of the imagination. But, I mean, a lot of people know me, and So the main thing I want out of YouTube is a contact with people, and I'm really feeling it from these live streams. Twitch, I have not tried. Now, I know they have broadened because Twitch was just gaming, which is not what I do. But I know they have broadened, so you do other things on Twitch live stream. Now, I might try Twitch because you can monetize Twitch. Where's AZ? Is he all right? Not really. He is at his place. Yes, he hasn't been in any videos for a while because he hasn't been very well. See, on top of his quite severe physical ailments, AZ has issues with anxiety as well. And this past weekend, he gave me a call because he has to cross town to come to my place. We live on opposite sides of town. And it's not that difficult, but it takes a while and you have to go through a whole bunch of people. And if his anxiety's plaguing him, it's not a good thing. So, yeah. He's not all that well. He has some physical unwellness, but his anxiety's been getting the better of him as well. Maybe this weekend it would be nice if he was able to come over this weekend. If he does, if he's able to come over, I'll probably make a whole bunch of videos that I'll release over time. So you get little doses of AZ. Who knows, maybe if he comes across, I'll even do a live stream with him. I remember the last one, because I'm sitting here having a drink. I need to lubricate my throat while I talk. And it makes me burp. And I think in previous live streams, I was trying to suppress it. I think I'll just, let my inner Rick from Rick and Morty out this one. If I just have to burp in the middle of a sentence, it's just going to happen. So yes, anxiety makes it hard to leave the house. And, AZ's anxiety can be made worse by other medication that he's on for his various physical ailments. And of course, because he's Asperger's as well. Even just that alone sometimes makes crowds a bad thing, and he doesn't want to be around crowds. Like, I've been out with him at a shopping mall, and with bright lights, lots of people and noise, and at a certain point his body language starts to change and he gets more tense, and it's like he's looking for a way out, or possibly looking for an opportunity to punch someone who gets too close to him. And I got noticed, I go, oh, it's a bit full on, dude. Shall we leave the mall? The mall is not agreeing with you. So, it's always an adventure with AZ, but he's worth it, of course. So we soldier on as much as we can. So here's the thing, you're saying AZ's natural and you don't realise that you have problems with anxiety or his Asperger's, and I think he has explained it in some videos. If I can get him on a live stream, I'll get him to explain it again. But he wasn't even diagnosed until his early 20s. Now, he always knew there was a thing. He had trouble with people and trouble with learning. Like, he could memorize things and he could talk. You get him talking, he can just talk. But actual book learning and stuff could be quite difficult for him. And it wasn't until he was at uni and his early 20s that one of the lecturers twigged what his issue was, because he's brilliant, but a certain type of test he would fail really badly. But other types of tests, particularly oral presentations, he'd ace, he'd be brilliant at. So the lecturer realised what it was, referred him to an appropriate doctor who said, yes, you have Asperger's. There are various ways of doing it. And so he realised, even unconsciously in his teen years, but he became more conscious in his 20s. Okay, he's going like, I don't read people like everyone else does. I don't experience emotions like everyone else does. There's a common fallacy that people with Asperger's or autism are emotionless. Some people are, but it's actually more common for people on the Asperger's autism spectrum to just experience emotions differently, sometimes much more intensely, like the opposite of the stereotype of them being emotional robots. They can actually be far more emotional. But Aidsy realised he didn't feel the same way as other people, and he couldn't automatically understand what someone was feeling. So he got incredibly analytical, as some people with Asperger's do, and he catalogued in his brain. He just paid really close attention, and he would ask people what they were feeling. And like when he saw facial expressions or tones in voice, he would ask, what are you feeling? How did that make you feel? What's happening now? And he'd catalogue it like that. That's my gesticulation. I actually just knocked my glasses off. Hang on a sec. Oh my God, how awkward was that? Me and the talky hands. So he mentally catalogued that facial expression means that shift in tone of voice means that body language means that. And ironically, that incredibly methodical, analytical approach means he's actually better at reading and managing and helping people with emotions than most non-Asperger's person. Like, what's the phrase people like to use? Neurotypical people tend to just automatically interpret emotions and often get it wrong, whereas Aidsy knows he can't automatically feel what someone's feeling, so he's done this really analytical one, which is much more accurate than a lot of people's reading of emotions. So he's actually really good working with people, and he's really good helping people who have social issues, whether they are on the Asperger's spectrum or they're just shy or awkward. So Aidsy actually works with people and helps people who have social difficulties and helps them get over it. So, it just goes to show that you don't know everything. Kelsey King, the thing is, if there's an accurate diagnosis of Asperger's when you're young, that helps you understand what's happening and why you're feeling particular ways and why you're developing certain ways. It's like that ridiculous idea that well, in my day, in the past, no one had Asperger's, no one had depression, no one had anxiety, you're just making up. No, people had all these conditions, they were just completely marginalized and they weren't understood and they weren't allowed to express it, or they masked it with alcohol or drugs, or they were just declared mentally ill, insane, and locked up. The conditions have always been there. People have always had to deal with it. It's just that we understand it and can diagnose it a bit better now. I get really annoyed with people who go, oh, no one used to have anxiety, no one used to have depression. Stupid as shit. Exactly, Batsoni, that it's relatively widespread. I mean, I had to do the thing with my own brother because he never bothered to go to a doctor about it. He's a bloke, he's a country bloke. I grew up in the country. But he just told me one time, he opened up a bit and he's going he has this absolutely crushing fear sometimes. He wakes up and it literally, sometimes he wakes up with it and he feels like something's sitting on his chest. And so he'd started to visualize it as a physical thing, a creature. Sometimes it would actually be sitting on his chest when he woke up and he couldn't move. And he just called it the fear. And even when he woke up not feeling it, it was like, well, when's it gonna come? Because it always comes. The fear always comes. And he talked about how his heart rate would go up and he couldn't breathe and he thought he was having a heart attack. And I went, dude, that's an anxiety attack, okay? That's an actual real medical thing. You're not making it up. You're not crazy. That's a real medical condition. Go talk to a doctor and describe it. And he's going, oh my God, that's such a relief. I thought I was just crazy. I went, no. It's a relatively common thing, anxiety. And I mean, people without a frame of reference can go on some really weird and self-destructive things. And having this frame of reference, understanding mental health and being open about it and getting help can like change so much. There's a story my brother told me. He went to this place that was just out of the town where we grew up. It was actually an Aboriginal sacred site. And I didn't know this about him. I knew he had a lot of Aboriginal friends growing up. He had more Aboriginal friends than I did. And he learned a bit about the stories of the dreaming, Aboriginal spirituality, and he thoroughly believed that the places the Indigenous people said had spirits in them, really did have spirits in them. And there was one particular place that he found out about that he would go if he was upset about stuff and worrying about stuff. He would just go and sit under this tree and wait for the spirits to tell him something. And he almost always felt better after going out there. And yeah, at a simple level, maybe it was just a thing of meditation. But he told me one time after going out there, it didn't really go the way he wanted. He didn't feel any better. And he got in his car to drive home because it was about 20 miles out of town. And he was driving home and he said there was something in the back of the car and it had followed him and it wasn't nice and it didn't like him. And as he was driving down the highway back towards town, the thing that was in the back of the car was telling him to steer into a truck, like trucks were coming towards him. The thing was just telling him, just do it, just steer into the truck, just do it, it'll all be over. Take a second, you won't feel anything. Just steer into the truck. And he said to me, does that mean I'm crazy? And I went, okay, there's a spectrum here. But the thing is, he didn't steer into a truck. He got home, he didn't listen to the thing, and he got past it and he got home and he was much better. And I said, okay, look, there's a spectrum. And I said, I'm being completely open-minded here. On one end of the spectrum, what you're describing is literally true. There was a malevolent spirit in the car trying to take control of you and trying to destroy you. The other end of the spectrum, it's a mental health issue. There was nothing there, but because of your anxiety, you were having these suicidal ideations and you were feeling just this black emptiness. Or maybe somewhere in the middle, but whichever one it was, you actually beat it. I mean, that's what you focus on. Don't focus on, was there a bad spirit? Am I having bad mental health problems? Focus on, you beat it. There was this thing that you were sure was compelling you to just drive into a truck and you didn't do it. You know, that's a win. So, I mean, don't beat yourself up over whether, you know, you're being followed by bad spirits or you're having some issues with mental health. Focus on the fact you had a good result, you know, and then go and talk to a doctor because, you know, there's some stuff there that you need to work out and, you know, there are various things you can do to help with anxiety and other mental health issues. So just throwing that out there to anyone. If you're worried about your mental health, yes, that can be overwhelming and, you know, not being able to get out of bed and stuff. But the fact that you're worrying about your mental health means you're still here. That's a win, quite honestly. Might not feel like it, but you gotta take the little victories. And that's in no matter what. Eliza and Amy say hi. Hi, Eliza and Amy. I like it when people say hi. To move on a bit from mental health, unless anyone wants to talk about it more, and going back to talking about things with YouTube and whatnot, because I work with a lot of other YouTubers. We have some Facebook group with, it's that guy. It is Ruku-san. It is. And Cliffjumper, hello. I work on some Facebook groups with other YouTubers, and it's like a support group. It's like, hey, you can go in these Facebook groups and ask questions, whether it's technical or... Yeah, those are Amy. Yes, look, down in the dumps. And there's everything. It's like, feeling bad, feeling like overwhelmed by the world isn't even necessarily a mental health issue. Like sometimes, the world's really fucked sometimes, quite honestly. I don't know about anyone else, but when Trump got elected president of the United States, I had real trouble sleeping for a couple of days. Hi, Mel. And that never happened to me before. Aussie Brick Chick, you didn't know there were YouTube, Facebook groups. I think you're being sarcastic there, because I think you're in them. So, yeah, even though I didn't like George Bush, I never had trouble sleeping when Bush was president. But when Trump got elected, I actually had trouble sleeping for a while. And like sometimes feeling down or anxious or not isn't even related to mental health. It's just a reaction to real things that are happening. Janoria, welcome from the Gold Coast. Do I think Trump will get picked out? That is an interesting... Off the bat, I don't think so. I think Trump will serve out his term. Aussie Brick Chick, if you're not in the Facebook groups, just message me on Facebook and I will put you in them. Lisa and Agro. Yeah, that's who I thought it was. Yes. When Amy, I thought it was Agro Pixie. Yes. Mutant Cheeto. Sacking the FBI director. Hello from the UK. To me, the sacking of the FBI director is the answer to one big question. And I've seen actual really quite serious psychologists looking at the behavior of the Trump administration and say, look, looking from the outside, it's hard to it's hard to know, is what they're doing evil or stupid? Hello, Rose. Because from the end result would be the same if their motives were truly evil or they were just terribly incompetent and stupid. They would get the same results. And while I think Trump is malicious and completely narcissistic and possibly sociopathic, I think this sacking of the FBI director is the final proof that him and his administration are just really fucking stupid. Because this was stupid. Because all it looks like is, hey, Trump's being investigated by the FBI for illegal links with Russia, and he sacks the FBI director. How else does that look? Even if that's not the motivation, how else does it look? Oh my God. Oh yeah, corrupt. I mean, the corruption's just out in the open. They're not even hiding the corruption. Trump is using the office to promote business deals openly. They're not hiding it. I have no idea how they're getting away with it, but they're not hiding it. So yeah, they're stupid, they're corrupt, and it's clear Trump has this mentality of there's no sense of respecting the office. There's no sense of respecting people. It's just like, well, you reward your friends and you punish your enemies. Like, there's no respect for anyone. It's just like, well, we're on a cash cow here and we're going to milk it for all it's worth. Our friends get bonuses and our enemies get screwed. Yes, Metal Maniac Matt, the investigation from the FBI is probably not only going to continue, but it's probably going to get more focused because no one in the FBI is likely to like what Trump did. So, want a Hollywood, big bad ads, a Hollywood celebrity against Trump. Which one are you talking about? Are you just talking just generally? People said, I think a Hollywood celebrity could run against him. Yeah. This is the thing. Trump has debased the entire process. No matter what, everything now is going to be judged on there. Oh, The Rock. The Rock would be pretty funny. Yes, Kanye said he was going to run. This thing. Mel, do you think the FBI won't investigate? Look, I don't pretend to know. When I say I think, I'm not one of those people who go, I am absolutely right when I say this. I have my opinions, and I think Trump has now alienated all of the entities of the state in the US. He's probably got the FBI, the CIA, and the State Department, and the Justice Department all against him now. And that's a very stupid thing to do. So, yeah. Bo, he'll get rid of the FBI. He's got friends in the FSB in Russia. Maybe you'll get them in. The Rock might be a Republican, but he can still run against Trump because Trump's garbage. Mel, you may be right that the FBI will find the investigation hard, but we're in uncharted waters. Anyone who says they know what's going to happen is talking shit. This is like uncharted waters. This is so crazy. No one can possibly know what's happening. President Trump, troll the fuck out of the US via Twitter. No, you're right there, Cliff Jumper. They're talking about you go to the States for a holiday, them forcing you to hand over your social media records. And that's third world dictatorship stuff. Obviously, I'd be screwed. Actually, I would probably get away with it because unlike you young folk, I could just quite convincingly say at US Border Patrol, what? I don't go on the internet. I'm old. And they'd believe me. I just couldn't have any electronic devices on me because they'd look at them and say, well, unlock this and let me show you. And so there you go. I go to America a couple times, Mel. I quite like it there. I have friends there. Rose, you asked how my day was. My day was fine. Thank you very much. I was at work and America's crazy. Look, it kind of is. I swear to God, though, the first time I went to America and I went to Disneyland and it was crowded with all these weird Americans, I was going, I know why everyone wants guns in this country. It's because all the people are so fucking weird. I want a gun. I would just be telling everyone to stay the fuck away from me because I don't want them anywhere near me. 49, you're all young. I'm 51. I'm not a granddad though yet, although I do. My kids are old enough to have kids. They just don't. I don't think they will for a few years. So, you know. Yes. America is weird and scary. But I have friends there. I like visiting there. San Francisco's. Thank you, Mel. It's my good, clean Christian living and not going outdoors much and never doing a day's hard work in my life that preserves my youthful looks. No, seriously, I notice sometimes I've seen guys who are 30 who look older than me. Rose, France did the right thing. Yes, Jude, I was at Denny's with you on one trip. That's true. Yes. Big bad ads, I'm older than your parents. It happens, you know. It's like that. That's it, Wolfer. It's the anger. It's the anger that's keeping me young. That's what it's all about. A red state. Nice. This snowflake fights fascism. I like that as a shirt. Dude, that was the only time you ate at Denny's. I love that. You ate at Denny's just for me. I've eaten at Denny's 3 times, I think. This is the weirdest thing to me. My last trip to the US, the best meal I had was a salad. And I'm not a big salad eater. And America's not exactly known for salad as a thing. There's one place in LA that just had this really good salad. It was fantastic. Don't even remember what it was, but it was really good. The dressing was probably really unhealthy. So even though I'm saying salad, it probably wasn't healthy. Oh, dude, I think you're right. I think it might have been called Soup Plantation. Yes. But it was a good salad anyway. God, I've got a bit of a cold. I can feel my nose blocking up. So, yes. Oh, God. Speaking of American food, American style barbecue and burgers are really big in Australia at the moment, particularly in Melbourne. Burger places like, upmarket burger places everywhere and barbecue places. My dinner last night was from a place called Boy BBQ, which is actually not. There's one in the city and there's one not far from where I live now. And the dinner was like ribs and brisket and pulled lamb shoulder, and it was all like juicy and saucy, and it was so good. Fat Boy, where's Fat Boy, Eliza? It sounds familiar, but I don't think I've been there. But yeah, there's a couple of good burger places near where I live, and they're great. Yeah, I'm actually a fan of Big Boy Barbecue. They have a fairly diverse range of stuff on their menu, and I mean they're not cheap, but like I got this mixed meat plate. It was about $70. It was like ribs and brisket and lamb and two sides. Oh, a fat burger in the States? No, I don't think I did. Sizzlers was big here. What's the one I liked in the US? Fuddruckers? Maybe I just like the name. Actually got one of their singlets. I've still got it. Because it's one of those names that's obviously meant to sound rude, but actually isn't. And I think they made fun of it in the movie Idiocracy, where a place with a logo that's like Fuddruckers is actually called Buttfuckers because they don't do subtlety in Idiocracy. Whereas I'm hardly in a position to judge people for weight problems, but the short answer is yes. The fucking meal portions in America are like, this. They're huge. You go to these places, absolutely huge. You still have Sizzlers. So Sizzlers have all closed down. I love the bread from Sizzlers, the Parmesan toast bread. That was my favourite thing. You might be right, Credit. People love to be into... And Australia has probably as much of a weight problem as the US. We don't have those huge portions here. The portion sizes in America tend to freak Australians out. We have some though, like if you go to a pub that does a big parma, chicken parmigiana is a big pub thing here in Australia. And, Australia definitely has a weight problem. I have a weight problem. You get these chicken parmigianas, like a full, like double chicken breast, beaten out quite thin, and it'll be about this big. It's absolutely huge, and it can be a real thing to get through. God, what I love in America, chicken fried steak, because you're not limited on the size on them. Because it's like shredded and then put back together. And so I've seen a video of a place that does a chicken fried steak that's literally about this big and is covered in gravy and mashed potato. And there's they have a food challenge, like to eat it in 10 minutes or something. Lazy Mo's. I don't think I know Lazy Mo's. I think I've seen Lazy Mo's. I don't think I've been to one. I'm not sure though. Oh yeah, chicken fried. This is the thing. When Australians hear chicken fried steak, they think it's chicken, but it's actually cow beef, and it's beaten into shape, and it's fried like fried chicken. But yeah, Credit, that's a good one. A charity that salvages thrown out foods. Beef or cow, they're the same thing. But certainly lives in Queensland, so you're in Sizzler land. I noticed, speaking of Queensland, the the supermarkets here have started selling sort of flavoured nuts, and they're from Joe Buki-Peterson territory. What was the area where he's... Kingaroy peanuts. And I was like, wow, that's a flashback. There's a famous thing, a famous fascist dictator, state premier from Queensland, super corrupt Joe Buki-Peterson, was a Kingaroy peanut farmer. It's in a hangout discussion about spiders. You're right. Look, Australian wildlife does weird ass shit. Huntsmen are big, but they're not even remotely dangerous. But they can freak you out because they're so big, and they can move really fast. What they do, like if you're like me, you try and catch them and put them outside rather than kill them. But what a huntsman will do is stay really still as you're going to get it. Like you got like your Tupperware dish or something, trying to catch the huntsman until the last second, and then they'll move really fast. Like you go to get them and they just and sometimes they will jump at you to sort of put you off. They're just trying to make you go away when they rush. There's an hilarious video that gifs of it get circulated heaps, that a friend of mine, actually a YouTube friend, there was a really quite large huntsman on his ceiling, and he's got a Tupperware thing, and he's on a little step ladder to get it, and his daughter's videoing it because he's going, I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel. So, and his daughter's like under 10, right? He's a little girl. And he's got a Tupperware dish, and he's going, and he's getting closer, and the huntsman's not moving, and he gets really close, and just as he's about to lunge, the huntsman dashes sideways, and so he lunges after the huntsman, and he just kind of catches one of its legs, which dislodges it from the ceiling, so it falls on him, and then he falls off the ladder, and his daughter, who's holding the video camera, screams and drops the camera, so it looks really dramatic. Like he wasn't hurt, and the spider didn't do anything, but the combination of the spider falling on him falling off the little step ladder, and his daughter dropping the camera and screaming makes it look super dramatic, and it's so funny. It's oh god. Actually, find that video. Probably if you just search on YouTube for trying to catch a huntsman, there'll probably be 50 videos of it. Yeah, see, Luke, but the huntsman are so friendly. Oh, I did a thing once with a spider, and I think it was a type of huntsman, but it wasn't as hairy as huntsman, but it was about as big as a huntsman. And I was visiting my mum, who lived out in the country, and my kids were there, and the room where they were sleeping, these big fucking spiders on the wall. They're like, we can't sleep there. And the way the room was set up was really awkward. There was a cupboard, and it was on the wall behind the cupboard, so I couldn't catch it. It was impossible to catch it. And I thought, this is unfortunate. I'm going to have to kill it. I prefer not to, but they're not going to sleep unless I do something. And I got this broom with really stiff bristles, and I thought that's strong enough, because I was just thinking like huntsmen, they're a bit squishy. I thought this is quite hard. This will squish it and it'll be dead. And everyone kind of ran out of the room when I did it because it was freaking them out. And I went it with the broom, and when I hit it, I could feel the resistance of its body. Like, it wasn't a huntsman. It had quite a hard body. I could feel its resistance, and I knew I hadn't hurt it, but I knocked it off the wall, and it fell behind the cupboard. Fuck knows where it went. And I was like, oh shit. If I tell them I didn't kill it and it just knocked them off, they'll never sleep tonight. I think I'm gonna sneeze. My nose is all blocked up, and as I talk, it's vibrating in my nose. If I told them it had just fallen down, they wouldn't sleep all night. And I knew the spider didn't want to be around anywhere, and it was probably freaked out by me doing this, and it probably ran right off somewhere. But if I told them that, they just wouldn't sleep. So I told them I killed it, and and they went to sleep. Cats who catch mice and then mutilate them and present them to you. There's also, like living around like St Kilda, my cats will catch mice or small rats and sort of tear them to pieces and leave the corpse lying around. Gross, so gross. Well, Mel, at least yours eats them, okay? Mine used to mutilate them, and I'd find corpses in the yard and stuff like that, which is totally unpleasant. Prefer if the cat ate them rather than just tearing them apart and leaving them. Yeah, there's a theory that if a cat kills something and leaves it there, it isn't like we joke about it being a present. It's not so much a present. There's a theory that the cat thinks you're a bad hunter because it never sees you catching anything, and so it feels like it's helping you. It's like, okay, I killed it for you. There it is. You go. Like Aidsy used to always make jokes when he was quite sick. Years ago, he had a big old cat, and it was mean. And when he was quite sick, he'd wake up with some dead, mutilated thing on his pillow, and the cat's sitting there. It's like the cat's just looking at him. Go on, buddy. Go on, buddy. You're not looking good. Go on, eat up. That's good. I had a taste. It's good. You have some. Come on, have some. Have some. Yeah, the cat's saying they love you. They're saying, look, you're useless. You don't look well. You're not catching anything on your own. So I'm helping you out. Is AZ? Yeah, I mentioned AZ earlier. Is he still evading the Grim Reaper? Yes, he is. And the whole thing, all the people who pick on his rotten teeth, which for those who don't know, because I've said it in a couple of videos, but the reason his teeth are rotting is because it's like a semi-cancerous infection in his jaw. They've cut out bits of his jaw as well, and his teeth were supposed to get taken out like a year or two ago, like just all taken out and like get falsies put in. He told me recently that there's actually a date set for that. I think it's in June. They have all his teeth taken out, and then it has to heal. And with his various ailments, it'll probably take a while to heal, so he's going to have to eat through a straw for a month or so, and then I'll fit him for some false teeth. He was a smoker. I don't think he smokes now. See, he's a proto-vapor. Like, everyone vapes now. We make jokes about vaping. AZ got into vaping, like, I don't know, 5 years ago, before anyone else. But under pressure from his boyfriend, Jason, I think he's stopped smoking altogether now. Still vapes, but he used to vape and smoke, and I think he stopped smoking altogether. So, there's that. And he's not abusing over-the-counter painkillers anymore. He's been very open about that. See, ads, that's probably what Jayce is looking forward to. No teeth, look on the bright side. Excellent blowjobs. So, he'd appreciate that. But so we're proto-vapor. No, Rose, I don't have my studio set up. I did a huge amount of unpacking and moving last weekend and got much closer to having a space set up for a studio, but it's not completely ready yet. If I have another run at it this weekend, I might have a better space for shooting videos. Prescription painkillers, no one will prescribe AZ painkillers anymore because he was an addict. If he was in America with the opioid epidemic there, he'd be happy but dead, I think. He would have got some serious opioids and probably OD. And now I really think I'm going to... Oh my God, that'd be an awful screenshot. Catch me midget. Oh my God. like back on Monday, I was feeling really sick, and I thought I might not make it to work on Tuesday. But then I felt better on Tuesday, and I've been, but I'm getting all blocked up now, so I don't know what that's about. I have to see what happens. Oh well, by sheer coincidence, I brought my work laptop home tonight. If I'm really sick tomorrow, I can spare everyone at work my sickness, and I can work from home. Got Wi-Fi here, got the Skype to talk to everyone at work, so we do that. Look over there. Look, that's me over there too. Yeah, all right. Sinusitis, I don't know, Mel. It feels just like a cold to me. But because for me, when I'm getting like a cold or some sort of lung infection, get this really gross taste in the back of my throat. Yeah, it's like all the antibodies working stuff, and that's what I had on Monday. But it kind of went away. Drink suggestion: Pepsi Max, ice, and a slice of lime. You know what? Cliff Jumper. The flavors, because Pepsi Max do a lime variant now and then. Look, this totally unsponsored. This is the vanilla Pepsi Max that's going around now. I really like that. I don't think you're being rude, Rose. Yeah, see, work flu shots, that happens almost every year. And my work hasn't even mentioned flu shots this year. So I don't know if they're not doing them. But it costs them because they get a nurse to come in and run through people for a couple of days. But in terms of people not getting sick and missing work, it's to their benefit. Sean, I really recommend. It's a great mixer as well, actually. This mixing with various alcoholic beverages is really good. Yeah, if work's not going to do flu shots soon, I might just go to a GP and get a flu shot. It's no guarantee. Like, it doesn't stop you getting a cold, and the strains in the vaccination are last year's strains. So if you come into contact with someone who's travelled somewhere exotic this year, they'll have a strain that's not in your vaccination. Yeah, there's always someone at the window. It's me. Oh my God, we had that joke last time about someone finding my backyard and coming up to the window in a clown costume. That would be fucking awesome. Oh my God, I feel so snotty. I feel like I'm going to have to get a tissue. Cola Black. I don't know that one. Coke Black. Oh wait, no. Do you mean Coke Zero or... Coke Zero was Coke's attempt to make a drink that tasted like Pepsi Max, basically. I prefer Coke Zero to Diet Coke, but Pepsi Max is my poison of choice. Yeah, look, that's the thing. Sometimes you don't get flu vax at work because they're stingy, but it's better for them. Yes, credit. I have 2 cats, Mimsy and Shadow. They're both asleep somewhere now. A coffee-flavoured soft drink. Wow. No, I don't know that one. Yeah, $10. The funny thing with Coke is they marketed Diet Coke. So, well, that was the Diet Coke, but it was always kind of pitched at women. And then Pepsi they had Diet Pepsi, which wasn't selling at all. They introduced Pepsi Max, and all their marketing for Pepsi Max was at young males. It was all extreme sports, crazy stuff. And they totally captured that market. And one day Coke woke up and went, oh shit, we marketed Diet Coke too well to women, and guys won't drink it because it's marketed as a women's drink. And Pepsi Max has totally captured the male market. And we can't touch them. Diet Coke can't make any inroads on Pepsi Max. So they invented Coke Zero. It even tastes more like Pepsi Max than Diet Coke does. Pepsi Blue, that's right. That was a weird one that was around for a while. Or Crystal Pepsi, if you remember the 90s. Dr. Pepper's had It's Not For Women ads. Oh my God, there's a chocolate bar in England called Yorkie, and the thing on the wrapper says, not for girls. And an ex-girlfriend of mine, who's more than a bit of a head case, tended to take everything literally. She got really angry. They can't stop me from eating it. I'm going to eat it. I went, that's what they're trying to do. It's marketing. They're trying to get a hold of you. If you eat it just to tell them, ha ha ha, I can eat it, their marketing worked. If you want to get back at them, don't buy it. But she was a little bit literal like that. So this is interesting. Has anyone ever watched one of these videos back? Because I haven't. Do the comments come up if you watch the video on YouTube? So, because I'm not sure, because they don't come up as comments on YouTube, but do they come up on screen as if someone watches the video? No, they don't. Okay, so I probably look insane to anyone who watches it afterwards. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I'm just trying to imagine someone watching it afterwards, and I'm talking and I keep breaking out of my stream of dialogue to say something to someone who's not there. This, yeah. It's kind of the joke I used to always make about mobile phones, because before mobile phones, particularly with earpieces, the only people you saw walking down the street talking to someone who wasn't there was like people with schizophrenia or similar disorders who were talking to someone who wasn't there. But then they felt like they had friends everywhere when people started talking on mobiles, or because they had earpieces. It's like the people with schizophrenia who were hearing voices go, oh, you hear the voices too? Oh, I'm glad that you know they're there too. So now I feel like I'm kind of like that. Like people who watch this back on YouTube go, the fuck? Why can't this guy keep talking about one thing? Who is he talking to? There's no one there. What is he doing? But notice how no one uses Bluetooth earpieces anymore. I just use I have an iPhone and I just use the headphones for listening to music because there's a microphone on the thing. I just use them to talk. Yeah, I talk with headphones on, but I don't feel weird about it. I'm fine with it. Oh God, this is a rant I've always wanted to do. I've got to do it one day. A thing that pisses me off. And I love doing rants about stuff that's really inconsequential, because this is not an important or serious thing, but I want to rant about it. People who treat the phone like it's a walkie-talkie. Have you seen people, instead of holding their mobile up here like this, they'll hold it out here and they'll talk like this and then put the earpiece in and talk like this. And I go, you know who's smarter than you? The person who designed that phone. And do you know how they designed it to work? To be held here. So whatever the fuck you are doing here is just fucking stupid, and you need to stop. Unless you're the sort of person who you're just refusing to hear it. I'm going to say a thing and I'm not going to listen to you at all because I'm just talking out here. You can say anything and I don't care, and then I'll give you a chance. And then I'm going to go back here and you can't say anything anymore because I can't hear you. It's like, what the fuck is wrong? And the absolute pinnacle of this, and this is the people I want to slap the phone right out of their hand and then slap them again. The people who are wearing the headphones and they've got the microphone here, but they're still talking into the... Do you know what happens when you put the headphones in? You disable the ear and the thing, and you're hearing here and your microphone's here. This bullshit is less than useless when you do that. It's like, just basic work. That's how it works. That's why I grab him with a collar, shake him and go, that doesn't work like that. This is not how it works. This is not how it works. It's just like, man, it's so frustrating. Stupid people frustrate me. And it's like, they're not stupid people, but it's people doing stupid things. And of course, everyone does that occasionally. There's no fault. And I think sometimes we get more upset at people who do things that we do. And I don't do that thing with the phone, but like driving, if I start shouting at people driving, every now and then when someone does something really stupid and I really want to go off at them and go, yeah, and halfway through abusing someone, oh, I think I did that yesterday. Oh, well, fuck it. I only did it as a one-off mistake. I'm assuming that person does it all the time. I'm assuming they just can't drive and they do it all the time. So I'm justified in abusing you. Big bad, and you think people are just stupid. I think some people are just stupid. And I think we live in an age where, disturbingly, some people are aggressively and proudly ignorant. That bothers me heaps. But you're right, that's not how the Force works. There's a comment you see a lot online on Twitter and on various things when someone says something super stupid. They go, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Oh God, Mike, people who play, like not with headphones, play out loud from the shitty speakers on their phone. Oh, lock them up. Ice Moon Prison. Get rid of them. They're like the worst. Craig, you're right. And that's a thing that's been observed. Again, not even in a negative way. Like just saying ignorance from literally you don't know. You are talking about something where you don't know. You don't know the real answer there. And if you travel, it broadens your mind and it tends to take away your blinkers, and if you started off ignorant, it's tends to open your eyes a bit. It's hard to stay ignorant if you travel a lot. It's not impossible. There are lots of people who manage it, but for an ordinary person, just coming into contact with other people really broadens your mind and makes you less likely to be aggressively ignorant, I think. And we're just quoting Princess Bride. It's one of my all-time favourite movies. So many quotable lines, like the Sicilian with his, inconceivable, keeps saying inconceivable. I love it when you get an opportunity to look at someone and go, you keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. It's just... And the Spaniards, other great line. Oh God, I remember once at work I was walking along lunchtime. There was like a video store and they had a TV in the window that was playing The Princess Bride, and just as I walked past the Spaniards fighting the six-fingered man, and that's one of my favorite things. Hi Taz. One of my favorite scenes is the Spaniard fighting the six-fingered man. I thought, I'm just going to stop and watch this because it's awesome. And the fight's going on. And someone else stopped to watch. And I soon found out he'd never watched The Princess Bride, but he thinks it looks cool. And I'm watching it just because it's my favourite scene. And it's like the fight. And the Spaniard gets the upper hand. And the six-fingered man's in panic. And six-fingered man gets the sword knocked out of his hand. And he's going, oh, please don't kill me. And the Spaniard sort of, because the Spaniard has two scars that the six-fingered man gave him when he was a kid. So he like whips one side of the six-fingered man's face to give him the same scar and said, offer me riches. And he says, yes, what are you? And whips the other side of his face so he's got a scar, offer me power. And he's just going like, anything you want. And at this point, the Spaniard, who's the good guy, has the six-fingered man, the bad guy, but completely at his mercy. So this is where the good guy is typically magnanimous, and he just runs him through, just sword straight through the chest and goes, I want my father back, you son of a bitch. And the guy who was standing next to me, and this is where I realised he'd never seen The Princess Bride before, when he ran the six-fingered thing, the guy next to me just flinched and went, fuck! Like he so didn't see it coming. I read that the actor, what's his name again? Mandy Patinkin, had recently lost his father, and playing that role actually helped him move on was like saying goodbye to his father, which is awesome. But overall, that movie is just great. One of my all-time favorites. Thoroughly recommend it. I think my old all-time favorites was like The Princess Bride, With Noel and I, a British comedy. You definitely should see it. Speaking of quotable, that's such a quotable movie. God, how old's that now? It's like 30 years old, that movie. Jesus of Montreal is a fantastic movie, particularly if you went through Catholic education like I did. Jesus of Montreal is great. And The Godfather's one of my all-time favorites, just a beautifully constructed film. But the last couple of years, there's a couple of movies that I think, go on to my all-time favorites, and they're big blockbusters, not art house ones. Like Mad Max Fury Road is a fucking brilliant movie. And yes, you're right. Wally Shawn, who's the Sicilian, who's just inconceivable, is in Star Trek. And he's also the voice of of the Tyrannosaurus in the Toy Story movies. Yeah, witness me. Mad Max Fury Road's a fucking brilliant film. The new Star Wars films, fucking great as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna sneeze again. So, apologise. I don't know why I'm shielding my mouth from you, like you're gonna get my germs. If I sneeze at you, I should just spray the screen. But yeah, and not quite as legendary as Mad Max. Yeah, I've just been spraying snot on the sleeves with these sneezes, but it's the end of the day, so I worry about that sometimes. Like when I'm on a tram or something, going into it and I sneeze. And I do the thing of sneezing, and then I just look, oh my god, is there snot and stuff all over my arm now? Oh god, that's gross. So I slow motion sneeze because I have what's called photic sneeze reflex. These sneezes are happening because I got snot in my nose and it's irritating my nose. But also bright light will make me sneeze. The sun, definitely. But sometimes even just the light in a room, looking straight into it, can make me sneeze. And I did do a video years ago when I had a slow-mo thing on my camera of just me sneezing, and I deliberately sprayed out as much as possible. I should get a new camera that does, 4K slow motion. And am I sure I'm not a vampire? I'm not completely sure, no. Who can be sure of anything in these days? Yeah. Yeah, I know. Allergic to the sun. What's that about? I can go out in the sun, but it really, if I look straight at the sun, it will make me sneeze. Oh yeah, cliff jumper, people who just cough or sneeze in public without covering up. That's just gross. And we're getting into cold season, so like every freaking tram, bus and train is full of coughing and sniffing. Oh yeah, my phone has a good slow-mo setting. A red Ruxa. Yeah, man, if I could afford a red camera. No, I've seen some incredible bloody stats for slow motion on new cameras now. I mean, the iPhone does it amazingly. But yeah, I haven't bought... See, I could almost justify buying a new video camera. I haven't bought a new video camera for YouTube in 5 years. And mine is starting to flake out. The lens cover that's meant to go over when it's switched off isn't, and it sticks. It's almost enough justification to get a new one. Plus, I haven't bought a new one in 5 years, so maybe I will. I don't know. The iPhone does quite amazing slow-mo. But yeah, I guess if I got a new camera, I mean, the main things I'd be looking for is, it could shoot in 4K. That's luxury, you don't really need it. But it's not bad. And if it could shoot at a high frame rate, have you ever seen like 4K shot at a really high frame rate? It's freakishly clear, like it seems unreal. And it gives stuff like a quite otherworldly look you play with. But also being able to do really high quality slow-mo, I'd like to do that. So I might get a new camera soon. Almost paid off my credit card, I might as well. I might as well run up some more expense. Technology is in fact amazing. It blows my mind. I show you, I used to be a real gadget freak. I had to buy the newest. Rose, I'm really glad you found this channel too. I had to buy the latest and greatest, and I bought one of the first ever digital cameras that came on the market. It was actually made by Casio, you know, the people who made cheap, shitty electronics, because the camera makers took years to take digital photography seriously. And Casio made this one. It was the first one that had a display on the back that showed you the picture you just took. You know, major, groundbreaking thing. And I bought it for a trip to America. And the resolution of these pictures is so fucking terrible. Like if, you know, like an average, like not even like an iPhone, like, you know, if a 1080 resolution picture on a computer screen is this big, I'm not kidding, the resolution for this camera was like that. It shot these tiny images, but it seemed really cool because I could see it on the back of the camera and I could put it on computers really easily. Celtic King, do I have those photos? I could probably dig them out. They're probably on an old hard. I've still got the camera. It possibly still works. But it's crazily low resolution. And guess how much I paid for it, okay? Quick guessing game. How much did I pay for this camera that took these incredibly shitty low resolution digital images? And more pixels than anything else. It's like, you know, everything was really blocky. So yeah, and this was the first camera that did this. So guesses. Yeah, we're going 200, 300, 750 is getting a bit outrageous. Sean wins. I actually paid $1,000 for this camera. And without a word of exaggeration, $1,000 camera today would literally be 1,000 times better than it. Like that's, if when you're an early technology adopter, that's the sort of shit. Like the first color printer I got for my home cost $1,000 because they just didn't exist. This is like, yeah, Sean, you used to always win the movie guessing games. The first color printer I got for my home cost $1,000 because they just didn't exist. You know, you couldn't color print at home. It was this major breakthrough that you got a color printer in your own home. And again, this was such a shitty quality printer, like literally going out to Officeworks and getting a $30 scanner printer combo, so much higher quality than this one that I paid $1,000 for. The first scanner I bought, I avoided buying a scanner for years. The first scanner I bought was $200 and it was just a scanner. And because they used to be like a couple thousand. And with this one, I thought, okay, 200, that's as low as they go. And now you go into Officeworks or anywhere for less than $50, you get the printer scanner fax combo and it's in really high resolution. Technology's insane. Oh God, my nose is running. I really have to run off. It's annoying the shit out of me. I've got to get a tissue. Where's my nearest tissue? Probably in the next room. 1 second. Ah. Is there someone knocking at the door? No, it's just me moving. Okay, I'm back. So I just went in the next room to get a tissue and Mrs. Angry said, God, you can really talk your head off, can't you? And it's true. This is like 75 minutes of me just talking non-stop with no one else. I mean, you guys are helping with the comments, helping me go along, but this is like a 75-minute monologue so far. Top shelf, that's Maker's Mark. That's some Costco vodka. You actually heard her laughing. Yeah, because she heard me say that. And she thinks it's hilarious that I'm admitting what a loudmouth I am. So, what's the job? Maker's Mark bourbon, some Costco vodka. What else is it? Oh, this one. This is a really good one. Elderflower liqueur. That's really good. And interestingly, the last tequila I got is actually branded... with you like my dulcet tones, thank you. Rolling Stones branded tequila. So there you go. I'll show you. So yeah, there's a few. That's not all my alcohol. There's more alcohol over there. The elderflower is awesome. This elderflower liqueur, just making cocktails or just mixed drinks, adding a bit of this elderflower in it, just boosts whatever the drink is. I made a fun drink last weekend. Cliffjumper saying I should read the comment I'm replying to rather than just answer it. I kind of do, and I'm aware that without context, a lot of stuff I say won't make sense. That's just it, because sometimes comments come up so fast, it's hard to do anything with them. Adopted a bottle of vodka like a fire extinguisher. That's nice. My favourite vodka bottle is the Crystal Head one, the skull. So I have a couple of empty Crystal Head skulls which I use. I put my concoctions in, and I found some skull decanters in some gift shops. So I've got a few skull decanters. When I make my flavoured drinks, I put them in them. Drink I came up with last weekend, the Maker's Mark bourbon and chili infused tequila. The chili infused tequila is red because there's a silver tequila and it was these red chili rock candies that I dissolved in it. And that was a really nice. Oh, and that was with like a lemonade. So when you get, I reckon saying you got the minibar sized head, and I got some of them when I came back from a holiday recently because they were in duty free and they were really cheap. I tend not to drink vodka straight. I drink it as a mixer. But Crystal Head is one of the smoothest vodkas I've ever tasted. Like just drinking it straight is really smooth. Like I said, I tend to use it as a mixer, and I get it mainly for the bottles. And I have a few of the like little skulls about this big. I've got so many skull bottles. Look, I'll show them to you. How about that? That'll be a bit of variety. I've got to go off the side. Entertain yourselves for a minute while I get it. Three of them. So, here we go. Okay, so this is the bottle Crystal Head comes in. Almost full size, not really. About half size of a human skull. So this is actually a herb infused alcohol that's in here now. And this is a slightly smaller one. I found these skull decanters in a gift shop. And see the red one? That's the chili infused tequila in there. And this is the one Ruko-san was talking about. Your mini bar sized Crystal Head. So that's just, I haven't drunk this yet. Still got the vodka in there. So, oh God, Gavrock, how much do you have to drink before Indiana Jones 4 becomes watchable? I've never attempted that. I don't know if there's enough alcohol to do that. I do remember, I know, aren't the little ones cute? I feel like that'd be, you could just like make up a cocktail in one of these to take to parties. That's a decent sized cocktail in here. I've accidentally perfectly framed myself in this one. That's good. Yeah, I did do a live stream once where I was drinking and watching movies. What did I watch? I remember I sort of slipped off into alcoholic oblivion while watching 300. That wasn't the first movie I watched, but it was the last one I watched on that live stream. And this is one of the very few times I was left to my own devices. I was alone in the house, so I did this. And I woke up in the morning and I realized I had no idea how I got to bed. And that like almost never happens to me. And I got up and went, and so I went in the bathroom and the medicine cabinet was open and I kind of knocked everything off the shelf because I took like some headache tablets before I went to bed. So clearly I drank water and took headache tablets before I went to bed. So that was good because I didn't have a hangover. I just didn't remember the night before. And so then I sheepishly had to go onto social media and say, what happened at the end of that live stream last night? Because I don't remember. And people say, oh, yeah, you started to get really vague. Like you were doing your normal gabble, 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 talk non-stop, making jokes about while watching 300. Like some people say this film's a bit gay. I don't get what you're saying. I'm just enjoying watching heavily muscled, nearly naked, oiled up men. I don't see the gay at all. So apparently I was talking to myself, and then as I kept drinking and the movie got longer, I would stop talking as much and I would zone out and sort of look into the middle distance. And then apparently really abruptly I went, fuck, no. And I just said something like, nah, gotta go to bed. And it was on a laptop. I was doing it from a laptop. And apparently I just went, no, gotta go to bed, and snapped the laptop shut. I didn't remember any of this. And so it's like, kids, don't drink too much alcohol. It's not good. Drink just enough. So that's the thing. I don't want to destroy my liver, so I don't do that very often. I am a class act. That's why, you get just drunk enough. It's like, I've only got sick from drinking like 3 times. Does my wife, well, okay, first, we're not, although I refer to her as Mrs. Angry, we're not actually married because neither of us is into marriage. We've been together for over 11 years. But no, she prefers, because she, in her day job, she is a professional and she doesn't want anything that might detract from that. So she stays the hell away from my videos, which shows very good judgment, I might say. So, no, you won't see Mrs. Angry in a live stream or any other video. But you might hear her. Her voice is in it. Like, if a few people heard her laughing at me when I admitted she just said that I'd go on and on. And she has helped me with a couple of videos. Her voice is in a couple of my videos. But that's about the extent of it. So, yeah, it's just me. And someone asked me a while back, will I ever bring the masks back? Maybe. Based on a conversation in the last live stream, I might bring puppets in. Cliff Jumper says the cop showed a wanted poster that looked like me. I'm pretty sure it wasn't me. I don't think there are any cops after me. One of my favourite ones is someone showed me one of those e-cards that people often circulate because they're funny. There's this one of someone in an office throwing a bunch of papers up in the air, like, and the caption either says, it's fuck this shit o'clock, or fuck this shit, it's Friday. And the cartoon looks like me. It actually does. Someone sent it to me once and said, this looks like you. And often when people say that, I don't agree, but that one looks like me. No, not like, okay, see, that guy has an unusually small head. It's definitely not me, because I have an unusually large head. I have a stupidly large head. See, when I said this isn't normal human size, it probably is. That's probably normal human sized, and it's next to mine. No, I'm exaggerating, but I have a stupidly large head. Like my hat size, inches, circumference around here, it's like 64. And, Roxanne, you looked it up. It looks like me. I'm not making it up. The e-card, the fuck this shit e-card looks like me. And it's really quite weird. Well, either a big brain or a thick skull is what is for my head. I think a thick skull, because one of the stories I've told on one of my videos, when I was at school, I got hit in the head with a discus, which probably should have killed me, but my skull deflected it, so... Oh, Gavrock, I like that. Stupidly large is better than largely stupid. Yes. Yeah, maybe there's a brain being protected by my thick skull. Keith Urban with glasses. That's an interesting one, Rose. I like that. I don't know. Yeah. It's one of my favourite stories, getting nearly killed by being hit in the head with a discus. And Iron Skull. Credit. That is a good name for a superhero. I could be Iron Skull. My superpower is being able to be hit in the head and survive, which is a fairly limited superpower. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. You gotta have something. Oh, remember when I said this is a herb infused alcohol? It is a 95% Polish rectified spirit. It's like, I'm gonna say this will probably clear my sinuses if I sniff it. Oh. So, I made a little bit of a mistake because I experiment a lot with the things I dissolve in alcohol. Sometimes I use fruit, sometimes herbs, sometimes lollies. And what I found with this, Mega Leech, blast from the past, buddy. I haven't seen you in ages. What I found with the herbs in this Polish rectified spirit is it rips all the flavour out really quickly. Like, you really only want to leave the herbs in it for like 12 hours to maybe 24. And I left it in for a couple of days, and just the herb flavour is too strong now, like even in a mixer. So I use that as like bitters in a cocktail, just a few drops to add a herb flavour to a thing. Bo, you've got it. The superhero duo Iron Skull and the Manky Cripple. And the question being posed, how much of AZ's stupid thing is an act? 100%. He's one of the most frighteningly intelligent people I know, but it's one of his ploys to put people off guard, to act like he's possibly mentally retarded, so people underestimate him and they don't realise the degree to which he's manipulating them. It is 100% an act. Oh, and I was talking about how he copes. Rose, you enjoyed the thank you. I probably won't be around much longer either. You're right, Credit. If AZ unleashed his full power, could cause the apocalypse. But the other thing he does, and this is what he does with people face to face, like because we often have meetups with YouTube people, and AZ is like a people wrangler, keeps people in line. One thing he will do, he invades people's personal space and says and does weird things to sort of put people off. And I thought he was just doing that for fun, and it is fun. But he actually explained to me one time, it's to level the playing field, because with his Asperger's, he doesn't like people being around him. Just having people all around him can be really overwhelming. So when he has this really effusive public personality, he's basically overcompensating for how uncomfortable he feels. And so when he gets up in people's space, he feels like he's just leveling the playing field. Because just having people in a normal situation, just talking, he said, they might as well be licking my eyeball. I feel that invaded by where they are. So I have to put them on the back foot. So he'll do these really off-putting things and act weird and freak people out a bit, because it's how he copes with the fact that he has difficulty with crowds and the public and people around him. You never know, because his coping strategies are so finely tuned, you'd never know. Cliff Jumper, you're right, AZ is great, and he's something, he will like that. If Trump causes a nuclear apocalypse, the only ones left will be cockroaches and AZ. The evidence suggests that's true. Like, seriously, if he ever does pop his clogs and I go to his funeral, the first thing I'm going to do is kick his coffin, and poke him a bit, because you're going to have to be sure, because it just seems implausible after all the things that haven't killed him that, I just would never be completely sure. So, I'd have to poke him with a stick or something, which, could cause a scene. I'm just saying it could affect the mood of a funeral. But you just have to do it sometimes. Oh, I'm giving out all his secrets here, because he's not here to stop me. But here's an interesting thing, and for people who don't understand like an Asperger's mindset, this is one example. This is not how everyone works, but this is one example of how people can think with Asperger's. If you don't have Asperger's, often like when you're thinking something over, you'll say like, yeah, I think of all the possibilities. I think of the pros and the cons, and I compare them, and you're doing it. With AZ, he literally has what he calls the board of directors, in that when he thinks of something, he compartmentalizes his thinking process, and it's like the different people sitting around a table at a board of directors meeting, and they each have their opinions and their drives and their needs, and he can actually separate them out rather than just having an amorphous thinking process. He can isolate it and goes, this person wants that, this is what they think. This person thinks that, that's what they think. This person, and he'll, in his mind, he will go person to person around a table, and he's basically thinking something through the way everyone does, but he's incredibly focused, and he absolutely personifies it into, I need this point of view, I need this point of view, I need this point of view, this point of view, and whichever one of them puts forward the best argument, that's what we're going to do. Yeah, look, this idea, the spectrum, the Asperger's autism spectrum is incredibly broad, from one extreme end of people who are non-verbal and non-communicative through to people who, if you didn't know that they had Asperger's, you'd never guess from their behavior. But inside, they know they have a different way of relating to people. They understand and experience emotions differently, but nothing necessarily shows. In fact, the majority of people who are on the Asperger's spectrum don't seem particularly weird. Oh, Megaleech, yeah, Inside Out. That's how AZ's brain works. The board of directors, except in Inside Out, they're emotions. In AZ's board of directors, they're people, but they all represent a single point of view, and he goes around and asks them all. Oh yeah, Rikusan, yeah, just that, when I was a kid, autistic meant you couldn't function, basically. Yeah, Cliff Jumper, obsessive stuff with details can be a thing. It's kind of like, one of my oldest YouTube friends, Corey Williams, Mr. Safety, SMP Films, Dude Like Hella, all the various incarnations he's had on YouTube. He has really full-on ADHD, but he's managed it in different ways over the years. Like when I've worked with him making video, people think ADHD means you can't concentrate on anything. And that can be a problem. Like you can flick from idea to idea to idea to idea. But Corey, when he's doing one thing and lasers in it, like editing a video, my God, like his process for editing a video, like a 3-minute video, the editing process could be like 8 hours, and he'll be laser focused the whole time. Corey Worthington, the party dude, Corey Worthington. Oh my God, he was my favorite because he sounded like an idiot. Like you think he's an idiot, but he made the host of a current affair look like a complete fucking moron on live TV. Like just this kid with no training in media, nothing, and just off the cuff, he made the host of a current affair look like a total idiot. So that's probably a combination of he wasn't as stupid as he looked, and the host of current affair is really stupid. Yeah, see the needle instead of hay tack. Yeah, Aussie Richie. That often is the thing with people with ADHD or Asperger's and stuff like. Just get super focused, like focus on. I just thought of something when I was in high school. I was a big Lord of the Rings geek. Like I read The Hobbit and then The Lord of the Rings, and I read The Lord of the Rings at least once a year for quite a long time. In fact, once I read it 3 times in 1 year. So I was that focused, and I read everything Tolkien I could get my hand on. And slightly, or probably much less known short story of his it's called Leaf by Niggle. And yes, Viola, I'm a nerd. So are you. Don't talk. In this story, Leaf by Niggle, it's about a painter and stuff, and he's trying to paint this whole tree and this whole forest, and it never finishes because he gets obsessed by details, and something happens so that most of the painting is destroyed, and all that's left is a segment, and it's listed in the museum as Leaf by Niggle. The artist's name's Niggle, and what's left is leaf. But there's that thing of, that's a literal, can't see the forest for the trees, can't see the tree for the leaves, and getting hyper focused on how one leaf comes off a branch and the twig. And I just realized maybe Tolkien was Asperger's. That would explain his meticulous world building. That would really explain that. That thought literally just occurred to me when we're talking about needles, haystacks, forest trees, leaves, trees. And I remembered that story, Leaf by Niggle. How weird. Okay. Cliff jumper. Yes, you go all the way. And that is very common for people who are on the Asperger's spectrum to have hyperfocus. Having no focus on things you don't care about, but getting hyper-focused on something you do care about. If you can harness that, it's incredibly powerful. Go all the way on a circumcision. Some people say I look Jewish. No, when I was a kid, all the boys got circumcised. I know it doesn't happen. We just talk about circumcision, and there's a Stanley knife sitting next to me. Careful what you talk about. You don't know what I got here. It's a nice pink Stanley knife, though, isn't it? It's like sharp blades, threatening, and whatnot, but it's pink, so it feels safe and whatnot. But it's not safe because it's a really sharp craft knife. So, okay, look, that's an hour and a half, and it's 10 o'clock, and I'm gonna try and clear my sinuses and hopefully get some sleep. I have no idea. This is trying to get G'd up and maybe make an end of week video. Cliff Jumpy used to have a Steve Jobs polo neck. Oh my god, that's a good look. I don't think I have any pollen. I used to love pollen eggs. I don't think I have any. Got a winter now? Flannelette shirts. I have so many flannelette shirts for winter. Just on those cold days, it just feels so comforting to have this really soft, warm shirt on. Oh, Cliff Jumper's got a last question for me. Is there a phrase that pisses you off? I could care less. Yes, that's misused because the actual saying is I couldn't care less. Okay, I'll throw one at you that's similar to that, and I think this is the way people saying it is they say like and there's variations of this, but I heard one that's I wouldn't piss down your throat if your lungs were on fire, or I wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire, and I was going, I would, if there's a person I didn't like who was on fire, I'd still piss on them, because that'd be funny. So when I say it, I never say the thing I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. I say the only time I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. So Wolfer, that's really perverse. I wouldn't piss up your ass if your kidneys were on fire. That's getting into a rather explicit sexual act right there. I like that, Cliff Jumper. Wouldn't piss if you were on fire. I'd beat the fire out with a shovel. An escalation thing, a comedian, I know Matt Ellsbury, who I've done a few videos with over the years, in one of his routines where he kept escalating things, where he's going like someone was so stupid that they needed to wake up. He goes, so I just wanted to smack him in the face with a bus. Just his thing of escalating to the point where you're somehow hitting someone with a bus, like you're Superman or something, just unless you just meant being the driver and running over them. But I like that idea of waking someone up by smacking them in the face with a bus. Some people need that. Ooh, Taz, you've been editing. Okay, well you can go back and watch from the start because I'm going to bed now and I'm just hoping my sinuses clear up. Otherwise I probably won't be making it into work tomorrow. Ugh. I have to do Skype meetings rather than face-to-face because I'll be too gross. But I hope I'm not that gross enough so I can do an end of week video. Yes, Viola Arc, that this person needs to be fired into the sun. Oh, Hannah, see, they're not even decent boogers. It's just blocked and runny. So, see, when you've got proper boogers, it's kind of satisfying when you just snort and a big bush oyster comes out. But it's not even that. If I tried to do that, I'd just like snot down my face. So that would just be gross. So I'm going to go to bed now. Hopefully I will be able to sleep. Hopefully I'll see you fun people. I am really enjoying doing these live streams. I'm feeling this is bringing back to me a sense of connection, and it's giving me quite a bit of motivation to get in and do stuff. And Viola, seeing we're virtually neighbours, you should be making videos with me as well. But I am getting really motivated. I've got to start doing more stuff. So hopefully, I really hope to do some sort of rebirth of the channel type thing this year. Not do anything completely different, but just get a second life. So I'm going to be doing more of the live streams because I really enjoy them and they give me motivation, and to be doing more of the other videos as well. There might be some surprises this year. Who knows? But thanks everyone for joining me, and if you're watching this afterwards, that must be a weird experience. But you should keep an eye out on the old social media because I send out links when I'm doing that. You're right, Corey. AngryAussie 2 Electric Boogaloo is what's coming your way. Born Again's probably not the right way to put it, Meg Leach. But anyway, there'll be more live streams, probably at least once or twice a week. And yeah, at least one or two edited videos a week. So you'll be seeing a lot of me And bye. Thanks, everyone. See you later. Bye.